Welcome, welcome, welcome to the journey of Grandiasha once again. We here in the Will-O-Wisp Woods are so glad to have you. So, as you can probably see, we are missing one of our players. May has come down with an illness of some kind as she traveled through the cold, frozen wastelands. So, the player is getting some rest. However, they have asked that we continue the episode, and with some things going on, I figured I might as well. Normally, we do a bit of a recap or something of that sort. However, I think we're going to do that next week as a means of catching everybody up to the story. So, just a fair warning for those that don't want to watch a recap. And for those that are just joining in, there's going to be one next week. So feel free to join us. However, for this week, we are starting The Journey of Grandiasha, episode 33. It's kind of weird to think that we are that high in episodes.
Maybe BBG is coming forth.
But, nonetheless, we have quite a bit to do. So, welcome to this week's episode of The Journey of Grandiasha. It's wonderful. This is wonderful. So, last we had left off, our party had looked around the throne room and had found something interesting among the bones and bodies left behind. A crayon, a very magical crayon. No, very magical crown that, when placed upon one of their heads, allowed them to view a memory, a visage, a story, something that was stored within the crown itself. And with that, they had more questions as well as a few answers, but now they are left to their own devices after seeming like crazy people to some of the rest of the group, as well as the doors themselves fixing themselves and placing themselves back on the hinges over and over as Dwindle lost his mind, quite literally trying to keep them off the hinges. However, the party has managed to set up a small base camp within this throne room. And the rest of the party, Care, Sarah, Lork, and Darnock, have all managed to find themselves here safely after bringing all of the supplies from the tower. So, now the party is left to their own devices as they find themselves within an empty throne room once again. What would you all like to do?
Is slowly cooking his steaks to what's the word?
Calm his nerves.
Calm himself for just and they smell delicious.
Alright.
Hopefully. They smell pretty good. Okay, 18. Yes.
All right.
Nyla's probably not going to take the lead on anything. She got pretty shaken up. Her self-confidence was a little bit lowered last episode. With the crowd and the door put together.
That's fair. Odd's just ready to go exploring. She's done waiting.
Okay.
You found a ship.
I did.
True.
She doesn't want to go back to the ship though. She would prefer not to go back down there.
Poor Rovan.
Mm-hmm.
So, as you all ready yourselves in different ways, May finds herself helping out the rest of the group set up their base camp and get things ready. The doors are still replacing themselves, and after leaving them be, as you all have decided against messing with them further, they have now steadied themselves in their original positions.
Sabers. Are you done raging on the doors yet?
Just quietly, I don't want to talk about it. Yep. Steaks.
So, are you all deciding to get a long rest in, or are you getting a short rest, or what's going on?
Wait, the long rest when we left last episode.
Yes, you did. That's good. So, you all are basically setting up for breakfast, which is wonderful.
Steak.
That actually changes a few things.
Steak. Where's the eggs? No eggs.
Very
Wonder
Thanks,
what?
as well.
So, what is everybody's passive perceptions again?
16.
27. No.
Or
14. 14. 14.
yeah, mine's a 14.
All right, 14, 16. Very interesting. Let me check the rest of your group's passives.
We've been robbed by ghost. No.
That would be rather humiliating and entertaining. Considering they
right.
quite literally have no need for it in the afterlife.
I mean, apparently they need doors.
In death, they have no need for any of it. So, this is wonderful, actually. So, where is everybody currently?
Sleep. Making steaks next to the campfire.
Oh, was probably hanging out near Dwindle.
Right? Me and
Me-
Rovan are probably near one of the doors, because Odd's just itching to start exploring.
Okay.
May sick?
May is
It's
May is rather chilly. So, well, the player is rather sick. However, May themselves has got the sniffles. But other than that, oh boy.
It's cold tight as tea.
Alrighty. So, while you all are getting ready or cooking or simply sitting about, Odile, you said you're near one of the doors?
Uh-huh.
Which one?
How
Is
many
there-
doors? How many
There's
doors
like-
did we say there was?
I think there's like 18 or 20.
No.
Yeah, there's
There's-
6 doors. 12
16?
doors.
There's 12 doors total in both in the left and right walls. There's the grand main entrance. There's the set of double doors behind you, behind the throne, that you all have wonderfully disposed of, by the way.
It's still up?
Oh yeah, you've just disposed it from its original position. So, less a throne and more a stone chair in the middle of the room now. So, there's the 2 sets of double doors at either end of the room. And then there's the 2 balconies, or the 2 floors, the balconies being connected by the 2 center doors. That is simply a staircase that spirals up to the second balcony. And then on the left and right side of those, at either end of the balconies and the first floor, are doors as well that seem to lead elsewhere.
According to the dice, they say I am at the doors that were behind the throne.
Very nice.
Fortification entrance 1.
And you said your passive's 14?
Bye.
I would like a perception check specifically from Odile.
Ooh.
Green or purple?
Green.
Okay.
Purple.
It was odds.
That doesn't help me.
You said green or purple, so I said odds or evens. It landed on a 12, so purple.
Okay, thank you.
Ah. Wait, I said purple. Yay!
Yeah, me.
I always leave that up to dice. I love purple as a purple is my personal favorite color. So
Green's
I'm very
purple,
biased in
purple,
that.
very good.
That's fair.
But-
I got a 12.
a 12 total.
Yep.
Okay. Very interesting.
I'm not saying much.
Could have been bad.
True. I could have gotten that one.
Could have been below 10.
Mhm.
Very true.
Interesting. So,
Bye.
Hmm. How do I explain this? So, James knows what spell I mean when I say tiny hut. Tiny hut is a spell that causes a barrier. It's a bubble, basically, that you're able to sleep in, and you're able to keep up without concentration for 8 hours. So you get a long rest in, and it can kind of camouflage based off of the color that you're wanting. However, it's very restricted, so on and so forth. This, however, is not.
It's an impregnable wall, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think so.
It's an impregnable wall that you have to have permission to enter.
Yep.
And the caster has to stay inside.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I'd know.
no, it's not a
No.
concentration spell, if I'm not mistaken. However, I have
Just-
my computer in front of me, so...
Stays up, so the spellcaster casts it, it stays up for 8 hours. Or until dismissed. Wonderful for a double spell.
Mm-hmm. Yep. 10-foot radius immobile dome of force springs into existence around and above you and remains stationary for the duration. Ah, the spell does end if you leave. That's very interesting. However, it's a good thing this is not that spell. So, Odile. You hear the door that you're near close, as if it was cracked a moment ago. And then you hear scraping as you watch Rovan being pushed away from the wall that actually holds this door. All of you can hear the scraping now. However, the two groups are separated by two separate domes. Due to the range, Odile, Dwindle, and Nyla, as well as May, are all forced into one dome, simply because Odile was so far away from the original base camp. And the other dome forms around Care, Sarah, A, Lork, and Darnock. You watch as it starts to slowly condense and get tighter and tighter, forcing you back into each other. However, it then stops. You can see across the room, only about maybe 20 feet from you all, the other group, just as confused as you all are. Before you see towards the set of double doors that Odile was standing next to, the barricade on the other side has been cleared, and the door opened, as a figure stands outside of it now, looking to you all, before slowly walking over to one of the torch holders and quickly yanking it down. You all watch as the stones grind before they suddenly drop a little bit and suddenly suction out from underneath you. Two separate tunnels
My rams?
Your rams are left with the base camp.
Frick.
However, you watch as the same situation happens with the other group, as the floor suddenly drops about an inch before suddenly suctioned open, and they fall. You will fall as well.
Danger sense?
That would work if there was actually a means of avoiding this one. However, you drop down into what is now a tunnel, and it seems almost like a stone slide as you swirl down and through. Surprisingly smooth for stone.
The sheer grinding from his armor.
Oh yeah, it's loud.
A robot
Very loud.
sheer grinding, like,
Yep, it's all very loud.
Just looks at no mistake.
So, you continue to slide, sliding deeper and deeper into this strange kingdom, left here by whatever just opened these floors for you all. And you come to a grinding halt as you all land within what seems to be a deep underground dungeon, abandoned, the bars rusted, the doors fallen off. You find yourselves in the middle of the floor, in one of these cells with the rusted bars.
Are we still stuck in the, like, dome sphere thing?
Nope.
Dwarf question: how far did he fall? Because it's stone.
I'd say you can make a wisdom check, as wisdom is meant for perception and such.
Natural 20.
Even better. You slid based off of the sound of the stone and based off of the size of this place. Probably a total of 120, 150 to 200 feet. And it was basically a 45-degree angle the entire time, if not more.
were we like one after each other, or like we were just clumped side to side?
Dwindles in front.
What?
I'm like, are we falling on top of each other?
Tail and it spikes now.
Well, due to the fact that you all were forced into a small bundle, you all fell together, and based off of your own body weights, you fell behind or more or farther forward. So Dwindle, funny enough,
in front.
would end up in front with all of his mass before he hit terminal velocity, and then you all started going the same speed. However, there are a lot of sparks. He is a very shiny disco ball in this place, basically.
Fantastic.
But
Walls get too tight. Oh, that's a painful dash right there. Oh.
so
Just
you all fall into this abandoned dungeon from the back wall. So you land in the cell. In front of you, across from where you entered and fell in, are the metal bars. And behind you, after you all come through, the walls actually reseal behind you.
Are there any locks I can try to pick?
Does it
Funny
sound
enough,
natural?
It sounds semi-natural. It sounds almost like a mechanics built into other
Sounds like something a dwarf would make normally.
sounds something more like an artificer would make.
Hmm?
However,
That's not good. That's not good. That's
if
not good.
if it makes you all feel any better, the door on your cell is actually fallen off and is just kind of laying on the hallway floor in front of you. Your cell is not closed.
Both better and worse at the same time.
I'm just gonna recognize the mechanical sound and go, ooh, damn, mechanics back then? Ooh, I'm gonna check this out. And start trying to investigate.
Dwindle is just like whoever this person is. He's singing A, magic, B, destroyed room. Which, for what he just saw back there, person is too smart to just simply do that and know that this door is broken. Which means something down here. Entertainment? Okay.
Nyla's going through the door anyway.
All right. You leave through the door and you actually look both ways and you see that your group is the only one down here. You can't hear the others, you can't see the others. However, it's dark. Your dark vision goes out to about 60 feet before you can't see anything else. And you look around and see there are other cells, some open, others rotted open, some closed and sealed closed due to rust. However, not a whole lot otherwise down here. It's very cold and very abandoned and very
Do
cobwebby.
we have packs?
I would say if you'd like, you can have your packs, considering you were getting ready to explore.
Yeah.
Same time next to fire. Fire fell down with us?
Nope. You notice that whatever objects you weren't carrying or holding on to, the barrier was actually passing through. So technically speaking, Dwindle would have his platter of steaks because he was still holding on to them.
Just
Nyla's gonna keep
start
looking for
thinking,
an
I
exit or
left the weapons
something.
by the fire. Oh. Oh no.
Oh, no, that's right.
Well, it's a dream job. Frying pan.
Voodoo, right?
I'm dead serious. He has no other weapon. Unless he'll be in his pack. He left blunt by the fire.
You're
Oh,
the
dear.
player. It's up to you. I won't
Yeah.
tell you one way or the other.
No, he would have it slotted on his side. As fun as that would be, that's just...
I was going to find it very entertaining every time Dwindle went to attack somebody. Just, I cast iron. Just, I really hope that I can get it commissioned at some point of just Dwindle anxious but ready to defend himself in a corner with a bunch of shadows of monsters around, and he's just holding a frying pan, just looking around like a crazed rat forced into a corner. Oh, boy. Oh, nonetheless, however, it's up to you all what you all have on you. However, most of your base camp has been left behind, and you all are in now unknown territory.
Yeah, great.
Thankfully, Rovan carries most of Odd's stuff, so.
Yeah, he's got my entire sled inventory. Looks at my inventory, looks at sled inventory. Oh dear. There is a vast difference between the two of them. Ah, I'm without
Oh, yes,
stuff.
my lungs.
I'm without stuff. Oh no. I got a tent.
Nothing's more terrifying than a party that has literally nothing on them.
Oh, that prep work. Useless.
Who knows? However, as you all step out, you notice the hallway goes both ways. Yes. What was your investigation check? But those of you that are stepping out, you notice that the hallway goes both ways. However, one way, as you step a little off towards that direction, you see the end of the hall. You actually see the wall at the end of this dungeon's middle pathway.
Does it go that way or right? Left, right, left, right?
Just ends. There's a cell on either end. However, you do notice the other direction seems to continue.
Dwindle is going to the end of the hall. That blocked off section.
Okay.
Investigation on the stone?
If you'd like.
He doesn't trust anything.
I got a 10 on my investigation.
Investigation! I have a 13 to 12 intelligence. This is gonna go well. 15!
Very nice. So, Odiel, while you're investigating the wall with the once porthole that you all just entered through on accident, or seemingly accidental for your end at least, you find that it is ancient and the wall itself has sealed closed, though you can see the indentation around the edge of where the wall actually opens. You kind of peer in, and using your dark vision, you can see the different shades of the metal that are shining off of the little bit of glow Rovan naturally gives just because of the magic that courses through him to keep him running as well. However, due to the fact that dark vision only allows you to see shades of gray, when all of it's one solid color due to shadows, it's a little hard to pick up on little itty-bitty details, but you can tell that it is ancient technology of some kind that somebody has created and worked on. It looks almost like a very, very controlled version of Rovan. Like a very small portion of what you have put into Rovan. Moving parts, small pieces that allow other pieces to move and shift freely. But other than that, not a whole lot to go off of due to the darkness and the difficulty just in general of trying to see in that little crack.
I just got very, very excited. There's technology here. There's mechanics here. I need to find them.
Your excitement, I hear the upset. I'm like, we are in a fun zone of a artificer that's been here for far too long. Oh no!
Can't be good.
It's wonderful. I get to find out more things. Oh, let's find him. I got questions for him. If it's him, it could be wrong.
Twindle,
10. Yeah,
your investigation check, you said you got a 13?
15.
15. Well, looking around and trying to get as much information from this wall as possible to see if there's any switches or any buttons or any bricks that you can press inward to try and move the wall, you realize that this one actually is a normal wall. It seems that this one is a structural wall that has been placed at this far end to end off this portion of the dungeon. However, you do pull out one of the bricks just because the mortar is old, and then you see behind it solid stone.
Looks at stone. Takes up one, scrapes off a bit, puts it in perfectly. There. Looks back.
All right.
I was gonna start exploring in the other direction.
In the other direction, the hall continues. up until it actually cuts the cells off at this last wall. And you continue forward, and it's a smaller open area. It seems like it's kind of like a waiting area for guards. But there is no corpses. You notice that near the door, however, there are piles of cobwebs, kind of strewn from against the wall, just kind of around something into the floor where something's just kind of sat motionless.
Look at it. Move the cobwebs away.
As you pull the cobwebs away, you're startled at first to the sight of what looks like a humanoid skeleton. However, looking closer, you notice it's not a skeleton at all. You can see that it is a strange automaton that has no longer been powered and seems to have a humanoid figure, save for the blade that runs from where an elbow would be all the way to where the fingertips might be. It looks to be some kind of metal soldier, no longer in operation.
I feel like that's a bad idea to mess with. Are there any doors over there?
Yes, there is a door in between the two piles of cobwebs and metal. The door itself is a reinforced door, and it does have quite a bit of rust on it. However, it does appear to have a lock.
Alright, I'm gonna try to pick it.
All right.
Dwindle's gonna rip apart the thing.
What thing?
It's gonna show up and see it and go, Mike!
How do you work? Looking for.
I'm gonna start pushing you over, but move, move, move. This is my stuff. Move.
Ooh, I was here first.
Yes! Fine.
19 investigation.
I'm just gonna give it a sleight of hand for me.
Yep, sleight of hand. For the 19 investigation, taking your time to kind of look over the automaton. Are you two
25.
clearing 25? That will definitely unlock the door. The door is a little rusted shut, so it is a bit of a bitch to try and open, in all honesty. However, you kind of shove against it, and it does finally separate from the door frame, basically. However, so are you two? There are two of these metal guards. Are each of you taking one of them to look over them?
There's two of them?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That works out
Yeah.
great.
That works out perfect.
Yeah.
I got a 26.
26 and a 19. Alrighty. For the 19, Dwindle and Odile, as the information is pertinent to both. For the 19, moving away the cobwebs and moving away as much as you can to see this creature or creation or item or whatever this would be considered better, you realize that not only is it not functioning anymore, it has no magic left whatsoever to power it. It looks to be that whenever you move the cobwebs away, you notice that these beings, creatures, items, automatons, these strange creations are left to rust and just no longer function, as they now are rusted completely over, and the parts themselves don't even look like they could move if they wanted to anymore. However, as you look towards the center cavity, just where a normal person would have their sternum, you notice a rather dull, cracked, and, for lack of better term, empty stone of some kind, a arcane stone that seems to have lost all charge.
Cool.
And as I said, the creations have one normal arm with three large fingers at the end of it where the hand would be, and the other arm seems to be from the elbow down, just a long blade.
Blade in use or no?
It's completely rusted, seems a little cracked, dulled. It's got that layer of rust now to the point where it's so much thicker than it was originally, and yet so much more... What's that word? Brittle. It's so much thicker, yet so much brittle, so much more brittle that moving any of this automaton, trying to pick at it or touch certain things, you actually feel the metal between your fingers just kind of squish and deteriorate and then fall into like rusted powder.
Hmm. And does he find anything of use?
There are a pair of keys on one of their waists.
What's gonna do us any good here? The keys look in good condition or no?
They look
Like the rest.
extremely rusted, like the rest of the automaton. However, they look functional. However, when you go to pick up the keys, you actually rip the hook that they rested on to the automaton. You actually rip that off of the automaton on accident, and the keys themselves are basically rusted together as you try to jingle them at all.
Sorry, Fairy, I couldn't find anything of use to help you.
Now, Odile, as an artificer and with a 26 roll, you would notice while searching, not only do you find the information that was just given, you find that the shard in the middle of both of these automatons are slightly different. They are their own little crystals. However, you do notice that both of them are without a charge. It almost looks like the same kind of crystal that you would use to power certain machinery that you would work on in the past. Most of these are known as arcane stones. They are magical stones that are used to hold a charge of magical energy that then allows whatever they are placed into to use the energy to power themselves. Almost like a kingdom will power lamps with magical energy or electricity to a point. However, these stones, these arcane stones, are cracked and aged to a point beyond repair or use. They are completely inoperable, both the automaton and the arcane stone within them.
Okay. So before you're doing it's okay. I know how this works. I've made similar things.
Did Jundle have any idea what was going on in there or no?
What do you mean?
The configuration, how it works.
Mm.
Any more for the idea of, okay, this gear moves this part, this part, this part.
There are a few parts like that are easy to see, just because of the fact that, you know, one gear moves, the other will move if it's touching it. However, with a lack of actual artificer training in the sense of building automatons like this, it's very difficult to see how all of it works together to create an item or automaton or creation like this that actually moves. It's a lot like looking at Rovan and going, got no clue what that does, but
I have no idea what this is. No, it's more of the idea of
common sense.
Common sense and dwarven institute or whatever word you want to use it for, because you know they like moving gears and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
from time to
The
time.
very basic gears are easy to tell here and there. Like I said, though, when you put that many together and then put that many in a group to move everything all at once, it gets very confusing very
Smoke
fast.
coming out Dwindle's ears. Just
It's understandable until a certain point, and then the brain just kind of goes, "Yep, lost it."
I just pat Dwindle on the back.
Dwindle.
It's okay. It's okay.
Looks down his hand. I do what I know. Reach and just jabs his hand down and grabs the stone.
Okay.
And pries it out.
It's not useful anymore.
Aye. But this thing's got carvings, right? Maybe useful.
No, not useful. Those carvings are just the ruins to make the thing work once you imbibe it with power, but
Bite it?
impute it with power. Magic. But as you can see, it's cracked and very, very old. It is no longer usable or salvageable. You can't redo it. Once the thing's damaged, it's damaged.
Sniffs it.
Smells
Don't
like
lick
dust.
it.
Licks it.
Tastes almost like rock candy until the dust hits, and then it tastes like dust and dirt and oil.
It's gross. It's gross.
Licks it again and keeps walking.
Fair enough.
Very strange. Whatever.
So
Carry on.
as you exit out of this hallway into whatever it is that comes next, you find yourselves in a main room. It seems to be some kind of guard post originally. However, there are two other reinforced doors, much like the one you just came out of. And then in one of the walls there is a normal looking door that's still reinforced, but it looks less like the dungeon doors where they have the slot that slides open that you can see into the dungeon hall to see what's going on. And this one is more just a normal door that is seemingly locked and likely connects to a different hallway.
Tugs at
Wanna try-
Nyla's pant like,
Yeah.
"What do you say?"
Yeah.
And offers the keys, and he's using it more as a He doesn't know how to pick lock, but he knows about pins. So
thanks,
maybe give some
It'd
help.
probably be about the same, but I'll certainly try them. If they do work, that would probably be easier.
I wouldn't recommend putting them in. It's more for the pins, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and pick or put a key into a different door.
All right. The keys that are rusted together on this ring, and as you look around, you also do see more of these automatons. There's about 2 of them in this room, just as left and abandoned as the other 2. But the keys themselves, as you attempt to use them for the door, you go to twist it, and you can feel the actual neck of the key itself twisting with your hand. And if you were to try and twist it any further, it would likely snap.
Yeah, I'm not gonna let it snap. I'm really
Alright.
careful about how it feels. I'll try picking it instead.
Alrighty.
Oh, that's still 17.
Nice. Is that total?
Mhm.
Alright,
I
that'll
rolled
pass.
an 8.
You hear a click, and the door unlocks, though very rusted as well still. So you kind of budge it with your shoulder again a little bit, and it finally breaks loose, and it opens to what seems to be a hallway. This hallway continues forward. and has widened a bit. It seems that this actually connects to another part of the castle somewhere deeper than where you were.
Is there any remains of chest in here?
Of chests.
Chest. Storage units.
Oh. Well, there are dressers, file cabinets, quote unquote. It's really just shelves with some very old, rotted, eaten away at by bugs and such books and such. There are shelves. I'd say there's one locked chest near one of the dressers.
Ooh.
You want me to look inside? Open
To
it?
the chest. He's just gonna lightly lift up on it to see if it even.
As you lift up on it, you actually can't get it open from the front. However, this wooden chest then, as rotted as it is, kind of the bottom, as you lift it up to try and get it open with the lid, the entire bottom half actually just falls back as the hinges that were holding the lid have actually just rotted the wood itself, and it actually opens backwards freely now. And as you pull it forward, you actually snap the lock mechanism at the front, so the rest of the chest just kind of falls back into place, and you're now just holding the lid.
I guess that works.
Inside, there seems to be what originally was likely belongings to other cells. There are a few common armors that have rusted. There's a few small daggers that have rusted. There are two small pouches, however.
I like pouches.
What is inside the pouches?
Has one tonight, and opens up the other one.
Alright, now let's open the...
As you open the pouches, you find, as gold does not rust very easily, gold pieces. However, they are minted with imagery on them that is far beyond the common currency that you have now. The head, or the figure on one side, is what looks to be a king. Slicked back hair, a goatee, crown on his head, and he seems to be looking to one side, and as you flip it over to the other, you can actually see what seems to be a crest of some kind. Not familiar with either of them, save for the king's head that seems very familiar to the one that you saw in the vision. Well,
I have no idea what you're talking
yep.
about.
May, Nyla,
Yes.
and Odile know exactly who that is. However, Dwindle has never seen this man before or this crest, and the crest looks familiar as well to all three of you, as when you were in the vision, you saw it among the flags that were draped along the wall, or walls.
Dwindle knows he has to smelt all this gold's going to have to be melted down to be used, right?
More than likely. It will likely have to be reminted for it to be any kind of value here, or just turned into gold ingots.
I'm fine with gold ingots.
Well, there's enough gold pieces here that's been collectively stored to make possibly one gold ingot.
Starts doing the math. Okay, we each got a quarter gold ingot so far. I'll take that back, thank you. And puts it, opens up the back, places it back down, he opens it up, then he puts it in a somewhere. There's a lot of pouches in there.
Cargo backpack, now with 7 extra pockets.
I want a very specific backpack.
But nonetheless, I assume you all are continuing forward now?
Die?
Wonderful. As you continue forward...
I was just gonna say, I was just gonna roll investigation or perception to see if anything looks newish.
Newish?
He doesn't like magic, but he knows magic normally preserves stuff, so that's what he's keeping an eye out for.
Fair enough. I will allow you to roll a investigation check for as you walk if you'd like, as there is nothing new left here, per se. However, as you all walk and find yourselves
can
in
also
this...
ritual cast detect magic as we walk.
There you go!
Even better. So, as you all walk down this hall, and as Dwindle looks out for things that are left in better condition, and as Nyla begins to ritual cast her spell, the group continues forward, finding themselves following this hall. And it then leads to a split, a T intersection. You've got a pathway to the left, which seems to lead to a set of double doors. To the right, another hall.
Looks to Nyla and no dial.
I don't know. It doesn't make a difference to me.
No
Anyone
dial
have fun?
chooses.
Yep. Up to you.
Okay.
Just making a mini map as they go.
Going
along.
left.
You're going left?
Going left.
To the double
I
doors
said-
it is. You step up to the double doors. The old wood, very rotted out and left to abandon, of course, just like the rest of this place. You open the double doors slowly to find on the other side a large 3-story library.
Ooh. It's a shame all the books are gone.
And it's not a small library either. It is from this double doors. This seems to be a corner connection. As you look out, you've got the wall that goes along your left, and out to the right it just opens. From this
Okay,
doorway...
Nyla's going full Belle from Beauty and the Beast on this library.
Well, from this corner to the other side, you can see easily about 60 feet of distance.
Oh.
And then you look down, and your dark vision actually only sees 60 feet, but it seems to continue forward. You look above you, there's a balcony, an open balcony, that seems to connect all the way around, for what you can see at least. There's a spiral staircase in the opposite corner that goes up to the other floors. This place is large.
What's the range of a detect magic again? 100 feet?
Mm-hmm.
200?
That's a good
I'm
question.
curious if she... I'll look it up. I'm curious if she's picking up anything.
I am also.
No, it's totally not because I like magic items.
There is 30
Just
feet.
rely on my thinking of it.
30?
It's only 30 feet.
Oh. Oh. Still, 30-foot radius. That's big.
Yep, I'm going up to the balcony.
Well, as you run towards the spiral staircase, as you pass by one of these old, rotted, very abandoned Fuck. One of these old, rotted, and abandoned shelves. You feel the presence of magic in one of the shelves next to you as you pass by. It seems that some kind of tome that you just passed by.
I'm gonna go grab it carefully.
As you pull it out, you seem to notice that it looks almost like a large textbook, but it's got a strap that connects from the back to the front for both the right side as well as the top and bottom. And you can't really see, because of the darkness and how dark vision works, you can't really see the symbols that are seemingly drawn on it, because you kind of can make a difference between the colors at least a little bit, but there seems to be a bunch of decoration on the book, and then in the center it's very plain and very clear with just wording across it in an unknown language.
Apparently magic, if anyone cares. Should I open it or wait for later?
Ooh, we'll just add it to the hall then.
Okay. There you go.
What's in the bag?
I'm gonna continue up towards the balcony.
Alright. As you go up the stairs, you do find that a lot of the steps are extremely rotted. I do need a acrobatics check very quickly.
Alright.
Just watching her, does Dwindle know there's no way he's gonna make it up there?
16.
16. You managed to save yourself from falling through one of the steps and causing any damage. It doesn't collapse per se, but as you go to step on one of the steps, it kind of breaks through, and you pull your foot up before you're caught in it and slice up your leg, basically.
Cool.
So
Good.
you get up to the second floor balcony, and you look around, and you can see your dark vision now over this area, about 60 feet. There are a multitude of bookshelves. In between the two walls, there are about 3 bookshelves with 2 aisles down the middle.
Are there
And
any
then-
doors on this level?
On this level, no.
Okay.
It doesn't look like any from this spot, at least. You can
gonna
see,
continue
however, a
walking.
few shelves down from where you all are, towards the end of your dark vision, you can see a few of the bookshelves have been knocked over and are just kind of piles of mess.
And she's gonna continue on and explore.
Okay.
Question.
Answer.
Has the door closed itself?
Doors, my worst enemy.
It's a simple question, because we need to know if it's on all the levels or if it's just up there.
That is true. Add strange magic book, burn at sight to inventory. For pooled inventory.
There's gold.
The door has closed. However, it doesn't seem to have closed without your looking. As you turn around to look and check if the door has closed by itself, you notice that it seems to actually be closing on its own, more mechanically than mysteriously.
My sanity is restored.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's kind of looking around now?
I making these Donald's keeping a watch of where to step carefully,
Alrighty.
and is keeping an eye out for looking for any book that actually looks somewhat intact.
Alright. I would
I'm
like...
looking for anything that's out of place.
Alright. I would like investigation checks from everybody.
17. I'm getting really worried. I'm rolling really good.
Yeah, same.
I'm really getting really worried for combat.
Yeah, I'm rolling evens. Like I got 2 bads and now I'm doing 2 good, so I'm good.
Well, Nyla, as you're searching around, you find that there are 2 other books that give off magical energy before your detect magic runs out. If I'm not mistaken, it runs out after 10 minutes.
I think
10
so,
minutes
but I
of
can double check.
concentration.
Yep. So you
I have
find
it up on me.
Yep. You find 2 more that seem to give off magic energy. They're not as sealed up as the first one you found, however, they are there. Dwindle, as you're looking around for anywhere you shouldn't be stepping and anywhere you shouldn't be messing with, you do find a lever protrudes from one of the main walls that you had come in from. Odile, as you're looking around and seeing if there's anything out of place, you find yourself kind of wandering down one of the aisles, and you find in front of you there is a set of bookshelves that have just kind of been pushed over, and it makes it a little harder to move down these aisles as it is blocking a good majority of the way.
I pulled the lever.
You're pulling the lever?
I pulled the lever.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
My mind's telling me no, but I am also a barbarian, so I get to do this for once.
Very nice. Your danger sense kicks in
Ah!
as
Oh no!
you can see the source. I'd like you to make a dex save at advantage.
5, 2. There it is! Hold the bad roll. Yeah, that's a 6. That's a no.
You are hit with 5 lightning damage as you pull the very old and rusted and just absolutely abandoned lever that then comes down with a loud thunk. And after everything in your head has stopped blaring at you from the shock, you look around as Odile and Nyla, as well as May, you all look around and see as lights begin turning on throughout the entire area, including a massive chandelier towards the top in the center of the room, lighting up the entire space. You look around to see there are, in fact, 2 more floors above you where there's nothing but bookshelves lining the walls. And then you look, and in the middle of the room there's a massive, Nyla, especially you can see it since you're above, there is a massive center space that is relatively empty. It's empty. I'll get to that in a moment. But relatively empty. And there are bookshelves that line the floor in 3 layers, 3 long lines from end to end until it gets to this center space, and then it breaks off into a large 4-way which has 3 more lines of books going. Most of the bookshelves have seemingly been pushed over or destroyed due to old age, or have just collapsed in on themselves, and most of the books are kind of rotted away and left to mildew and rot and just mold, and the pages and ink have just rotted away basically. But you can see now that this place is rather beautiful, in all honesty. The floors are a beautiful marble that have been cleaned. They were at one point, at least. They're very dusty now, and you can see footprints as you walk, but otherwise the place is very beautiful. And looking around, there are books that are in perfect condition on some of the shelves. There are only a handful as you walk by, but you can see that there are a certain few books that are just in perfect condition.
I was gonna just pull out ones that look good as she goes. Just take a look.
All right.
Probably just like a stack growing in her arms.
Jordan looked at books back there in his bag, looks up. Don't got that much room.
Somebody looks back at
Shit.
Dwindle.
Uh,
Good job turning the lights on.
Takes off his helmet. Mohawk frizzed. Ay. This is gonna sit down and just Dwarven fortitude.
So
7 hit points. Actually, 11 hit points back.
nice.
Now it's probably also gonna drop off an armload of books every once in a while with Wendell in the middle.
I'm just continuing to look for things that are out of place. Like they shouldn't belong here in a library.
Okay.
Also at the same
As
time,
I get
keep an eye out for
farther
exit.
and farther away from the group.
So Nyla's looking for more of the clean books and dropping off little piles of 2 or 3 that she can find in the area, at least. Dwindle is trying to regain his bearings after learning that electricity and lightning is very stunning for those in metal
Round
safety.
2. Round 2.
Odile, who's now looking around on her own, not only finds the books in perfect condition every now and then herself, but you're the first to notice. The center of this room, the large empty space, is in fact not empty at all. Around one of the corners, you can see in the center, where there was once a massive desk, a large circular desk almost, that gave space for those that were wanting to sit and read, to sit and read. In the center of this large desk, there is a small podium that goes up. And in the center of this podium, a small brazier that is alight with fire, and a smaller podium slowly goes up from the center of that and then spreads out, and you can see what looks to be almost like a bird's nest. However, it seems to be empty. However, Odile, being as close as she is now, would see pieces of what look to be eggshells at her feet now. Flipping them over with your toe, you can see that it seems to have the same red scales as Dwindle's egg.
Hmm? What egg?
I don't know about the egg.
That's
The one that you got from that last time.
that's right.
Yeah. Oh, Dwindle is the only one that knows about this egg.
However,
Nobody else in the group
was it
knows.
May and Dwindle that were in the area?
Mm. Oh, you mean you mean that egg?
No.
Oh, okay.
You don't know about the egg then. You just know that there are scaled eggshells along the floor. They're not very large. They're smaller. But there are still
What
a
do
number
I-
of them.
roll to see if Odd would know what what type of eggshells they were. Nature?
Nature.
Good job. That would be a 23 total.
23 total. You know of multiple creatures with scales. You know few that are with scales don't lay eggs. So there are a number of options that this egg could be. There are stories of dragons, of fantasy and history, but this doesn't look to be like a dragon's egg. It's too small. The pieces are too small. The curvature of the eggshell itself seems to be maybe the size of one's palm. It's not very large at all, so that weighs that out of the equation. It's too big for a snake egg, and snake eggs don't have scales. Maybe there's some kind of snake or some kind of large lizard that gives eggs like this, but it's too broad of an idea, and you're not entirely sure yourself, as there are very few that have actually seen dragon eggs or eggs of reptilian creatures of any kind, in all honesty, and even fewer documentation of eggs with scales on them. However, as a person who has served a number of people, you would know that some wizards have strange pets, one of which comes to mind, but you're not entirely sure either because you've never seen them have the eggs of these creatures. You've just seen them with the creatures. Pseudo-dragon comes to mind. They're like small cats with scorpion stingers and wings, but like I said, you've never seen one of the wizards that you've been around have the eggs. They've just kind of had the creature.
I'm gonna keep them around. I'm gonna keep going. I'll take like a quick glance at the two and go. Oh, that'll be fine.
What is Dwindle doing? I'm like, Dwindle's just the package guy. Just
It's whatever you want him to be doing.
downstairs he goes.
So, Odile, as you continue forward, I need a perception check.
$16.
16?
Mm-hmm.
As you continue forward and you look down one of the aisles, you notice at the end, behind one of the bookshelves corners, there seems to be a hooded figure peering around the corner watching you all. And when they notice that you've noticed them, they quickly disappear back around the corner.
Chase begin.
Dwindle and I'll have Dwindle and Nyla have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm probably out of your sight anyway by now.
Dwindle.
The three of you are just like books all the way. So should I roll athletics to try to chase? Wait, or is it Rovan that rolls athletics?
I will say,
Base speed.
as you begin your chase, and as you follow them, you round the corner, and you find that there is nobody there. And as you look around the corner, much like the entrance you came in, there is a doorway. A double doors. It seems to be cracked ever so slightly. However, doesn't look like there's any figure.
I go up to the doors. I want to see what's behind the doors.
Okay. As you peer through the doorway to see what's on the other side, you find another hallway.
Do I see? It's dark hallway now because there's no lights in there, huh?
The only illumination that you can see is the light that's pouring through the crack into the hallway.
Open the door. Find every light. It's hallway.
Okay. As you open the door, I would like wisdom saves
Oh.
Alright, Bravo.
for everybody.
We're not the everybody.
Are you doing one for May?
That is a 14. Good job, Dwindle.
I got a 17.
Very nice.
Somebody running for me, or
Oh, I just rolled for.
okay.
Nyla.
Up 6.
Hmm. Well, those that got below a 16.
Ah,
16 or higher makes it, but
that's a
those...
high DC. Dang.
Yeah, it is. But it was also beatable. However, those that got below a 16 are now paralyzed.
Crap.
As Odile opens the door and shadows pour in. An unseen source, but this cloud of shadow begins pouring in further and further, deeper into the room, beginning to fill it. Much.
Danger sense?
You would not see the source of this.
Right.
I have gone over that with Ares in a different campaign, and my ruling is if you can see the source or the type of trap itself, as in, like, pitfall traps, you're not going to see the source of the trap until you're on top of it and fall in.
I was just thinking shadows, lit up room.
As a wisdom save as well. It won't do anything for your deck save.
No.
But the shadows begin pouring in, like a cloud filling the area, beginning further and further into the room until it reaches the entire group, every corner of the room filled with this shadow. And with that comes this paralyzing feeling of fear. Those that are paralyzed are also feared, terrified. The room fills with black, pitch black. Each of you look around, those of you that can move, and you can't even see your hands in front of your face. Yet when you breathe, you can see the air cold in front of you, fogs. Each of you feels this gnawing feeling of being watched. This idea of eyes upon you. I'd like another wisdom save from those that are paralyzed.
6.
12.
I knew it
12.
was gonna bite me in the butt, damn it.
Okay.
Is May paralyzed?
May actually got a natural 19 on the first roll. And
Yay!
I don't know her modifier, but I know that hers is a wisdom-based caster, so I'm sure it's plenty. However, those that aren't paralyzed, and even those that are paralyzed can kind of shift their eyes around to try and find this source of fear that's causing them so much anguish mentally. Odile, you're able to move around if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
You clearly see it right away. Those that are paralyzed look around and attempt to see it. But above you all, right above, in this pitch black cloud, you see two bright, pure white eyes staring down at each and every one of you.
can't move because I'm paralyzed.
Uh-huh.
I want to run. I want to run so bad. Screw that thing. No.
It's just like pretty eyes. I'm too far away from the group now.
Internal screening.
Whoops. Wait, what about Rovan? Is he frozen?
It depends. I believe he has his own wisdom save he has to make.
Okay.
Does he make the wisdom save is the question.
Can that thing even be paralyzed?
I don't know.
That's why I'm like, wait.
Does it know the emotion fear? Does it have emotions?
I don't know,
Can it
you
be
got
charmed?
intimidated by move.
True.
Where are you, my friend? Where's your wisdom? Well, you got +0, so whatever you make. I'm gonna say, yeah, you can get paralyzed. I mean, we got frozen from the when we did the tarot cards, so. So.
18. Wonderful. He's not paralyzed.
Boys.
Just the two of us.
And it failed the
Sorry.
save.
So, I'd like another wisdom save from those that are paralyzed.
Natural 1!
5.
Very nice. So each of you just get to watch
Wait,
as these
We're never
two,
getting out of here.
these two pure white eyes stare down at all of you.
Only one.
A voice begins to speak. A deep, rumbling voice. In a language that's incomprehensible at all. Yet, in your minds, it seems to translate perfectly. You cannot stop me. And I won't let